Good morning and welcome on what is unusually a Tuesday morning to come and craft along with me. If you are new here and you've never joined us before, my name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and I always try and come on twice a week to do some crafting. It's normally a Monday morning and a Friday morning, but due to the funeral yesterday of the Queen and the bank holiday and everything going on yesterday, I didn't come on live yesterday, but here I am this morning instead. So do pop in and say hello if you are joining me live from anywhere around the world. It's always lovely to hear from people and to chat along with people as we go along. And if you're watching on catch up, indeed do also message and let me know that you've been watching. So let me bring in some of my slides. Let me also just temporarily hide that bottom banner because it gets in the way. So this is my website. This is where you will find me, www.love-a-duckie.co.uk, and that is where you'll find lots of inspiration. You'll find links to shops and you'll find blog posts and you'll find links to classes and downloads and all sorts of things over there on my website. So www.love-a-duckie.co.uk, and anywhere that you're looking for me on social media, be that Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, all of those places, you'll be able to find me by hunting out Love-a-Duckie, and hopefully that's where you will find me. So do come and join me in those other places as well. Let's have a quick look at some things that are coming up, a few sort of upcoming classes and things. I've just had a bit of a wiggle round of these this morning, because I had 3 classes last week, so that's a lot of changes on these boards that had to happen this morning. So our next technique class, our next how-to class, is at the end of October, 28th of October, and that's going to be a Christmas one-sheet wonder. So do come and join us for those. Those are always fun. Start off with a blank piece of card, create your own background paper, and then from your background paper, create a little pile of Christmas cards. So if you are worrying that your Christmas card numbers are looking a bit low, this is a good one to come along and join us for. And we've got the Regal Reindeer Stamper Stack. That's happening this week. That's on Friday. So you can still time if you want to squeeze in and help and come along and do that. You are more than welcome. So this is the daytime one. This is 3 cards, 2 designs, and this is on Friday afternoon. Our next Saturday Stampers is not until November, but this one is already proving to be popular. So if you'd like to come and join us on the 19th of November to do some Christmas crafting, then do check that out. I'm sure there will be fun and games along the way as well, as we will be seriously into Christmas crafting by then, by the 19th of November. Other things that we've got coming up, we have an evening version of the Regal Reindeer Stamper Stack, and that is on the 27th of September. So that is next week. So if you'd like to come and join me next week for an evening version of that class, you'd be more than welcome. Our next kit class is at the beginning of October, and for this next class we're going to be using the Sending Smiles bundles. Now, kit class doesn't mean that they are only available in the post. It does mean that you get a little kit of papers and cardstock and embellishments and all sorts of things, along with instructions to create at least 5 cards. Yeah, and it's a really lovely little class. We had a lovely time with the Heron one last week. Sending Smiles is the next one. Obviously, if you can't make it in person and you're here in the UK, I am very happy to send you out the instructions and all of the things via the post as a kit. And then the other thing we've got coming up at the end of September is a crafty completely crackers crafty games night. So this will be 3 projects and a variety of bingo and other sorts of games that we will play via Zoom. So do come and join us for that. And the other slide I'm going to pop up is this one about the current partners promotion that is going on. So the partners promotion, there are a variety of stamp sets here that are available either in the July to December mini or in the annual catalogue. So there's the Yeti to Party, the Trimming the Tree, Apple Harvest, and those are all available in the mini, and you've got this birthday piggy and the waterfall canyon and the fresh cut flowers. Those are available in the annual. So the stamp sets are available, but for this month only, you can get your hands on coordinating dies to go with those stamp sets. And as I say, they're only going to be available for this month. You can buy this if you've already got the stamp set, you can buy the dies separately, or if you have neither and you want to get your hands on both, you can buy them, and there is a bundle price on them. So worth having a look at those. And we're going to be having a bit of a play with the Apple Harvest this morning. So let's come back here. In fact, let's not come back here. Let's come down here. And this is the Apple Harvest stamp set. So lovely little stamp set for this time of the year, sort of autumny time of the year. You've got 3 images here. You've got the apples on the tree. You've got an individual apple, and then you've got this apple on the tree, and this one's been cut in half. So a bird has used a knife and sliced that apple in half. I'm sure not, but it is a beautiful image. So you've got these 3 images. You've also got this little blossom. You've got some sentiments. Thanks for your kindness. The greatest gift is a good friend. And then you've got this hope you are feeling better, which is quite nice with the whole idea of an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So yeah, so you've got those images, and you've also got this little sort of crisscrossy pattern just there, which is quite fun, which is quite nice, and some nice sort of ideas there for using them, different ways that you can colour your apples. You could use your watercolour pencils, you could use your blends, you can do some watercolouring, you could use your Stampin' Right markers, you could use your pastels, lots of ways that you could colour these images. So we're going to have a bit of a play with that, and I do have the dies to go with this stamp set. So you get a lot of dies. You've got this nice sort of scalloped border just there. You've got a branch. You've got this one that cuts out this big image just here. You've got a bit of a banner in there. You've got a couple of dies to cut out some blossom. You've got these to cut out these other stamped images, and then you've got all of these little bits that will make you some nice sort of 3D apple blossom, which is really pretty. I'm going to quickly flash a couple of cards at you. These were part of the Saturday Stampers. On Saturday, we've got a triple stamping card just there that was coloured with blends, and then we have another little card here. This was cut from Granny Apple Green and had some highlights and things added with watercolour pencils, and then you've got that beautiful blossom that also had colour added with watercolour pencils. So really pretty, those blossoms and flowers. So there's a couple of cards that I've already created with this set. Let's come up to the comments. Let's move that to one side. So I thought what we'd do today is have a bit of fun with some watercolouring. So I have already created a Granny Apple Green card base and a real red matte. I've done a scalloped rectangle from the scallop contour sets in Granny Apple Green and a stitched rectangle in shimmery white cardstock. Mine went blank then. Shimmery white cardstock is fabulous for watercolouring on. Obviously, we've got our watercolour card as well, our Fluid 100 watercolour paper, but today I'm going to use some shimmery white. So we have all of those pieces. Let's start with this piece, I think. And I'm going to take, this big image just here. Let's find ourselves a block. E block, I think, for this one. If you don't have our blocks, they all have letters on them. I don't know how well you can pick that up. This is the E-sized block. And you will find in the catalogue, it will give you suggestions of what blocks you need. So if you've ever wondered what that was, it says here, clear box A, B, C, D, E are the suggestions. And indeed, the E block is the one that we've picked for this particular stamp. You always want to try and, where possible, match the size of your stamp to the size of a block. You don't want it to be too big because that can cause some rocking and things in the background. Now what I'm going to do, I've taken some real red ink and I'm just going to try and keep the stamp up the right way so that the apples and things are hanging in the right way. Just coming in the background there, there's obviously something. Felt as if something gave then, as if there was something stuck underneath. It must have just been a bit of a bubble. Let's bring that in that way. So we've just given that a bit of an appley background. And you've just got those images in the background so that that's not just a plain piece of card. It's got a little bit of something on it. Now let's bring in a watercolour card. That's going to sit on there somehow like that. It may not be wonky, it may go on straight, yet to decide. Now we are going to use some watercolour, so we do need our Stays On ink. And I'm going to use this image here with the half cut apple. I've not actually used this image before. Let's peel the back off our sticker. You can see from that printing on there that there's lots of detail in this stamp. So obviously the stamp is going to be available until the end of this catalogue at least. So it will at least be available until December, barring any disasters. Let's see what block we're going to use for that. Is it going to fit on a D block? Yes, it is. Perfect. So yes, the stamp set will be available up until the end of December, but the dies are only going to be available until the end of October. So if you want any of those bundles, want any of those dies to go with any of those stamp sets, you need to get them sooner rather than later. Perfect. Let's get the lid on our Stays On. To one side for now. And I'm going to say I have my water brush somewhere. I know what I haven't got out. Bear with me one moment. I've got the colours out for the apples and things. I've got the branch. So let's just Add a bit of water to there. And let's bring in some soft suede on that branch. Just going to wipe off that brush. It hasn't got brown on it anymore. And then I'm going to bring in going to say, I know I definitely got the real red out. Some real red. This is a particularly battered real red. I've got a couple of real reds and I've obviously picked up the most battered one, but that's okay. I think we're there. So let's add in some water to our real red. Not dripping quite as much as I'd like to. Let's just add a little smidge of water just there. And mix that out. If I'm going to put down a sort of wash of red, I don't want it to be too dark for this first wash. We'll add in some shading and things in a minute. Now we just want some colour. We'll concentrate on this apple at the back first. Now I'm going to pick up some of the slightly darker, less watered down pigment. I'm going to come in and where the artist has added in their shading lines, I'm going to add in a little bit more ink and around this stem where there would be a bit of shade, and then just blend that out a little bit just with my wet brush. Give a little bit more colour in there, I think. We'll just add that in. Right, this front apple, let's come in where the skin is round the edge. Obviously apples don't have to be red, they could be green. Granny apple green is obviously named after the granny apples. So that's definitely a colour that you can be using to colour your apples with. And they don't even have to be one colour. You could use a couple of different colours for your apples. Right, let's get rid of some of that red from our brush. Because I'm now going to come in. Obviously this apple has been cut, and when apples are cut they do tend to go a little bit brown. I'm not using brown, I'm using So Saffron. I'm just going to bring in some So Saffron where this shading is just here, and some around this edge where there's some shading. And just with a slightly wet brush. And to blend that out a little bit. Just so that it's not quite white. Just has a little touch. That discolouring. Just going to bring in some red on the bottom there. I've missed that bit. And then we need to do some leaves. And let's add a bit of water. And let's come in on these leaves. So I've used Granny Apple Green here. Just spotted a little bit. It should have been red just down that corner, but we can go back in and sort that out in a minute. Okay, so I'm now going to go in with some slightly more concentrated ink, just where these veins are. do a bit more this side. Right, let's pick up our red again. And we just need a little smidge in there. Now, coming back in with a little bit of so saffron, I'm going to colour the centre of this blossom and perhaps put in a little bit on the bottom there. I'm going to bring in some Blushing Bride because Apple Blossom tends to have a little touch of pink on it. When they're shut up, they're actually the outside edges are actually quite pink. So I'm going to add a bit more pink to those and then just a touch of pink coming in round the edge of this blossom here. They are sort of mainly white, but just with this hint of pink and a bit of sort of yellowy green on the inside. Let's give this a bit of pink round there. Might just come in with a bit more yellow in there. Beautiful. And the other colour I've got here is some Balmy Blue. Let's again drop a bit of water in there. And we'll have a bit of a water. Oh, that was nearly a disaster. Let's move that one out the way. Don't want to add green into our sky, do we? So very carefully coming round the edge, sort of leaving a little tiny border so that you can, where possible, avoid colours merging together. Now hopefully these ones will have now dried. I'm putting this wet on to dry because if I'd have put water down first, it may well have run a bit too much. So do that in here. In between the apples and the branch. Ooh, a little tiny bit in there. moving this round so that it's better positioned where I can get in close without a little bit lean. Picked up a bit of another colour just there. Let's come in with a bit more blue. That to dry. Right, so we've got our apples sitting on there. Let's kind of put our little greetings. Could have thanks for your kindness. The greatest gift is a good friend. Hope you're feeling better. I might go thanks for your kindness. This one hasn't got its label on either. Let's do that. Right, I think we'll be brave and attempt to go directly onto our canvas. And if it doesn't work, well then we will put it up onto a banner over the top. You can always do that. Can always do that. If it doesn't work out, there's always a backup plan, but that has worked beautifully. Now I am thinking just looking for my bit of shimmery white to die cut our stitch rectangle. I'm going to take some of the little flowers in here. The apple blossom. Let's put the label on there. And I think we'll stamp 3 possibly. Let's make sure our brush is clean. Let's bring in some of that So saffron for the middle. 1, 2, and 3. And a little bit of blushing bride for the edge. Sort of almost dotting it on around this edge. I did go onto Pinterest looking at apple blossom just to sort of see colours and things. I've got a Pinterest board that is about being inspired by nature. I might add an apple blossom picture to there. Just helps to sort of, we obviously don't have to, you know, we can go off piste as much as we like with colours and things, but it is nice to have a little look at what the colours are as an inspiration. Ooh, just lost a little leaf. So we've got 2 dies that will cut out these flowers. We've got plenty of dies in there for you know, if you're making up trees full of blossom and things, you've got lots of duplicates to make that easier. Lining those up. There we go. Let's put these dies away. Grab a little pair of scissors. This one cut beautifully. This one wibbled a little bit as it went through. So let's just go round and trim that a little bit. And this one as well is slightly off. More haste, less speed. There we go. So somewhere we have got this nice little crisscrossy pattern, and I'm going to use that with some soft suede ink, I think. Take that in slightly. Come in this way with some soft suede. It's going to have a bit of a crisscross coming in down there, and a bit of a crisscross coming in at the top there. And I shall use some of these blossoms, just shape them slightly in my fingers. It might be quite nice actually just to have a few little granny apple green leaves. So let's just cut some of those. Run those through. And 1, 2, 3 of those. And some little leaves. That's looking as if it's coming together quite nicely. So let's find some multi-purpose glue. And let's start to build. I'm going to put on my real red. Stamped matte. I'm going to add my watercoloured matte to the scalloped rectangle. And this stitched rectangle fits beautifully just inside that dotted line of the scalloped rectangle. Let's give that a good press. Where's that E block gone? Use that block to give that a good all over press down, because once you've watercoloured on paper it does tend to curl a little bit. To get some large dimensionals, I think. Opening up a new packet, we'll put some of these on here. I will have it on a bit of a jaunty angle. And then let's put a little blob of glue in the centre up there. Add in a leaf. And let's come down here and add a couple of flowers down here. And I think a couple of leaves. Like that. So trying not to lose all my dies and things. There's a watercolour card using that Apple Harvest stamp set. As I said, that's going to be around now until at least December. But a really lovely little stamp set. But during October, you can also get your hands on these dies to go with it. And so that's a really big comprehensive die set there. You've got all of these small blossoms and leaves. These are the centerpieces for your blossoms. You've got the images that die cut your stamped images. You've got a branch, lovely scallop there, and that's a double-edged die there, so that will cut that very narrow sort of scallop trim. And then you've got this the label die here as well, so a gorgeous die set to go with a really lovely stamp set. So I hope you have enjoyed that little card for a random Tuesday morning, and we'll hopefully be back on Friday, when we shall perhaps for a little while at least get back into our usual routine of Monday and Friday mornings. But thank you for joining me if you've been joining me live, and thank you for joining me if you're playing or watching on catch up. Have a lovely week, and I will be back on Friday morning.